Chris. That was just showing you. So, once again, 3 matrix positions, okay? So, I'm here. Let's say I pass Chris's guard here, okay? So now, he's facing away from me. When they face away, I have more options than typically when they're flat or even facing in. Facing in, there's darces and it's kind of, maybe guillotines and all that kind of stuff. But from here, what I would prefer you guys do is that I catch that arm right here and immediately move this over and step over here, okay? He's gonna defend this arm because if he did, yes, he'll defend this arm here. From here, I have a lot of options, okay? But the key is to keep the chest low so that he has a hard time even defending his hands. Because if you're doing this, they can grab the wrist. If you do this, his hands are kind of confined to his elbows also. From here, if I want to go for kimuras is one thing. If I want to step over for that leg separator here, I can also hook it through here. I can also set this through here and begin to take the arms this way. It's really super effective, okay? If you want to see it, watch me roll around with Philip now. All I do is just go for north-south matrix, okay? Another good way to turn them to their side is to do this. Look, I can go here, 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 here. I go here. And they oftentimes just turn to their side. As I begin to fish for this arm, and I make sure that as I loop it through, you do this, okay? Because this creates a hook. It becomes very difficult for him to remove his hand because I can keep moving it this way here. Yeah, and then even here, it's somewhat of a kimura right here, okay? The key is to control them on the side because I want them wedged because this arm's exposed. When you attack this arm begins to immediately help. And now both of their arms are restricted to doing much besides saving one another. And one can't really let go of the other. The only thing they can do is begin to grab here, which frees an arm, or he grabs his belt. But that's not a very good position for him because you can trap his wrist and hand to his belt and he's gonna have a hard time, okay? So another good way to get them to turn is I get kind of an underhook on the shoulder here or here, and I wanna make sure that he's not really firm. I drive into him, go here, here, and you go knee to the belly here. And you don't leave him an opportunity to turn away. Because here, I wanna stay low here. And see how this arm is still exposed. He's gonna probably loop it through to catch it. Now his arms can't really effectively catch. That's when they'll grab the belt. That's the last resort right there. Because his bottom arm is caught out also, okay? From here, I have potential kimuras. I have the power kimura here. I step over here and I lock it right on the wrist, okay? But just be careful here as I tilt to the right so that my left leg can still control the shoulder and head. But here as I sit back, my butt goes to the mat and I easily pull this arm out using my hips. But this has to be controlling. Now, that's one. Just a couple ideas for the north-south matrix. But for mounting, one effective way to mount is to be able to switch your base. Here, I go to a scarf hold tap root. Hold here, drive my hip in here, and then I'm going to now switch my base this way here, okay? It opens up a very effective pathway right across his belt line while you're still threatening that arm. Because here, this arm is not in a very good position, and I keep my head down, scooting back here. I can do several things. I can go here, and I can immediately go to mount. But then the other problem is that now I'm in mount. I like to slide my knees up, so it's a little bit harder for him to push me back into half guard. And immediately here you go, start cranking the head to the side as you get right into the S-mount matrix. And again, I still have a kimura grip. The kimura grip is nice because you immediately start pulling and they have to start saving. So it's the same thing as if I were north-south. His hands have to be saved. If I want to go here, 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 and all of this is concentrating tension, it's a very effective position to be able to finish arm locks, chokes, and lapel submission. So what you're gonna do from side control, you always have to make sure that before you even begin to, let's say if you stopped here, okay, and he set his frames, you gotta make sure that this elbow somehow controls his far hip, and my right hip is at his hip. Because even if he begins to start hipping away and turning, okay, I can still continue here, and I can still begin to use my knee to stay connected with his hip. And even if he begins to turn to his side, right here, he turns, instead of sitting here and letting him bring that knee in, you switch the base here. And there's a lot of pressure on him here. And when they're on their side, I can begin to mount. So that's kind of one way. But to do it in a little bit more easy way, I have my right hand on the shoulder. Actually, let's go this way. My right hand on the shoulder. If you notice, I'm sprawling because this frame is only as effective as this frame on my hip. So I'm gonna roll into his frame. My left hand cups his tricep, and I'm just gonna rotate my hips this way here, and I'm gonna drive him up to the side as my left knee goes to his back here. And now I let go here, okay, as my hips switch. So for me to roll the hip, I have to move this foot out that way. And I still continue to slide back and head down. From here, I can just mount and continue to attack. Now, sure, you can get certain things from here, but I'd rather just go here, get like a boss grip here, and just start cranking his head this way. His arm can go underneath. Typically, it'll go over because, yeah, what they'll do is they'll want to prevent this here, and they'll block with this. But that's not a problem here because you go one, push, dip, and then you can go. And then that foot, very important, has to be creating pressure. I don't want you guys doing S-mount this way. You have awkward knee angle, you have no base on the back. I'd rather have you guys here. You can have this foot here, 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 but my left foot, hey, what's up, man? My left foot is lined up and leg is lined up with my right foot. So from here, I can begin to get, that's not Gregorian, this pulls out here. Arm raisers are very effective here. And the most important thing is that you got in, and that's my matrix. So one time, my matrix from the scarf hold hip rotation. So I'm flat here, my left hand goes here, forward here, here, and this hand is constantly pulling his elbow here. Because I want to make this very uncomfortable. Because here I can go hook and mount, or I can begin to get here and pull this top knee over as I go here, hook his legs, and mount here. From here, preferably walking this forward and slide this forward here. From here, your hand switch, you go across the jawline right here as he saves it with his hand here. There we go. And I push this here. So all of that movement is, in all reality, nonstop. Whether you go for arm locks, whether you have your lapels, whether you have these collar chokes and all that kind of stuff. But the most important is the mount. So one more time. So here he frames. Constantly control my arms and threatening to separate them here. Because from here, you can begin to, this is fairly simple to separate here. Okay, good, let's try. 1, 2, 3.